Did Beyonce fake her pregnancy? When Beyonce was pregnant with daughter Blue Ivy Carter, so many rumors began spreading that she faked her pregnancy with a fake belly and had enlisted a surrogate to carry the child. A particular video, however, went insanely viral, like literally overnight. A video of Beyonce's high-definition interview with Australia's Sunday Night HD surfaced online. This interview would have been, on record as the most boring interview of all time had it not been for the one moment at the start of the sit-down when Beyonce took a seat and her bump, did something entirely different and kind of unnatural. So to explain, when she sits down, you can see her stomach like deflating and folding in on itself. The stills and slow-mos of the disappearing bump were circulated online as people questioned, what was happening? Now, was Beyonce wearing, different sized bellies to throw off the press as to how far along she was? Had she and Jay-Z, gone the surrogate route and her, deflating baby bump proved it? Or was it something else entirely that can or can't be so easily explained? Beyonce's publicist, Yvette Noel Schur, was quick with it. She shot down the conspiracy theories almost like immediately, telling E! News that, websites, blogs, and rumors suggesting that Jay-Z's wife is wearing a prosthetic or otherwise faking her baby bump are simply like foolish and outlandish. Beyonce addressed it literally only once, saying that was crazy. It wasn't even hurtful, it was just crazy. Where do they come up with this stuff? Meanwhile, her mother, Tina Knowles, took the talk like very personally. She went on to say, "I thought it was very unfair and very cruel that someone would think that someone would be that diabolical to keep up a charade like that for 9 months. As a mother, it was painful for me to hear the crazy rumors, and I even had people ask me, which was so ridiculous. The only thing they could say about why it looked like her belly folded is that it must have been the fabric." One critic online pointed out that Beyonce has been so secretive about her pregnancy and that the only footage of her actually being pregnant was super grainy and like not clear at all. Some fans, came to her defense saying that there was a pic of her on the beach, in a bikini, but honestly the photo of her in the bikini, if she was pregnant, looked like she would have been about like 4 months or less. So basically people were saying, the photo doesn't actually prove that she was actually pregnant. There were just so many conspiracy theories regarding why she might be lying. Many people thought she didn't want to like ruin her figure, by being pregnant. Some people suspected maybe she couldn't have children of her own, and some thought, her and Jay were maybe adopting. However, none of this truly mattered when her daughter was actually brought into the world. Blue Ivy was born at Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, New York on January 7, 2012. Her and Jay actually reportedly bought out the whole floor at the hospital in order to have privacy, even making people who, were already there leave. But that's another story for another time. All in all, this whole circus made Beyonce a lot more open with her second pregnancy when she had twins Rumi and Sir. Personally, I think she didn't want the same, accusations and theories to surface again, so she kind of just said, y'all ain't playing with me today. You want a bump? Here it is. Is Beyonce lying about her age? There have been several moments that have made people question whether or not Beyonce is lying about her age. Matthew Knowles, her father, continues to use his daughter's name as a means, to staying newsworthy. This time though, it's adding fuel to the fire or to the rumor mill that the superstar is actually lying about her age. In an interview with Power 105.1's The Breakfast Club, Knowles, her father, says that Pink, the singer, is the exact same age as Beyonce. Pink, however, is 45 and Beyonce is, according to her, 43. Beyonce's age has been, a source of speculation for years, complete with alleged birth certificate leaks and, celebrity sources. Gabrielle Union, who is 9 years older than Beyonce, has said they were friends when they were teenagers, and apparently they even went to high school together, but the math ain't mathing there. While the difference between Pink and Beyonce are only like a measly 2 years, by the time you're like closing down on 50, those years, apparently seem to matter. So, fudging the numbers early on makes it a little easier to simply stop at 43 and refuse to age any further. It's as if, as a performer, you were to reach 50, you'd stop being considered for parts or shows, which, let's be honest, that isn't actually true in today's day and age, because just look at Jennifer Lopez. Like, she's in her 50s, she's still performing, headlining, you know what I mean? Or the other worry I would imagine most women up in age would be concerned about would be whether you'd be vilified for like gallivanting in a leotard or like a bodysuit, like a one piece, whatever scandalous type of outfit you might have worn in your 20s. Basically, for being confident about your body. Taylor Swift does it, it's, girl power, but if Madonna does it, it's like supposed to be shameful, So at least that's how society wants us all to view it. Beyonce has lied many times about writing her own music. Beyonce has claimed to be, the creative vision and songwriter behind some of her most successful songs, and there was no room for argument, that she was one of the most talented singer-songwriters to be a part of the music industry, and still is. But when rumors began to swirl that there were holes in the stories Beyonce told about writing her music, fans were shocked. They wondered if Beyonce truly did write all the songs she claimed to, or if she was fabricating. Now, there have been several times when songwriters or celebrities have had negative things to say and called Beyonce out in the press for taking credit for being the creative force behind her songs that have become hits. This is not to say, that the Run the World singer does not put her own spin vocally on tracks to take them places other artists could not, all while having an insane work ethic, but taking full credit for something that there was clearly a collaboration on led fans to do some digging. And when they did, they found several times when Beyonce claimed to be the sole writer or had the inspiration for a song, when that was clearly false. One person on Reddit actually rounded up like a number of examples, which include Emotions, which is actually a Bee Gees cover, Survivor, with the actual songwriter sued and settled out of court, Bow Down, which was allegedly written for Rihanna, Bootylicious, the demo was apparently near complete when, it got to Destiny's Child, and one of Beyonce's biggest songs, Irreplaceable, which apparently was actually written by Ne-Yo. Now, what's funny about that one is that Beyonce went on to say, "I'm sure people think I wrote it about Jay-Z or something, but the obvious person is not the person at all." Several years later, though, Ne-Yo claimed to have penned the song himself. Had he not thought the song was too misogynistic, he explained he would have actually kept it for himself. He said, "That song taught me a very interesting lesson. Many women don't think that differently. However, a man singing it comes across a little mean." So, with many discrepancies coming up in interviews over the years when Beyonce has claimed to be the driving force behind many of her hits, it is easy to see why fans wonder how much Beyonce has written herself, what she has collaborated on, and what songs were just written for her. There's no denying the talent Beyonce has, and no one is discrediting, her vocal and performance abilities, but many fans and critics alike think that she should give all the credit, not just to herself. In fact, it's just a song that maybe she's collabed on with one person, online even saying, unless Beyonce specifically came up with an idea for a song or contributed vocals to it, she should call herself an artist instead. Another person chimed in and said, "For some reason, we have this idea that singers have to also write their own music to be considered artists, but telling a story with your voice and entertaining people with your performance is a whole other skill set. I think at the end of the day, just give credit where it's due to avoid these type of, controversies, or stay as low-key as possible and don't extend your part." So there's a popular theory circulating online that Beyonce has a clause in her contracts or agreements with other artists that require them to publicly thank or acknowledge her during their performances or acceptance speeches. However, there's no concrete evidence to support this claim. But let me dig into this and then you decide for yourself. There have been several instances that have contributed to the speculation. The craziest one for me is Adele. So during the 59th annual Grammy Awards in 2017, Adele won the award for Album of the Year for 25. In her speech though, she thanked Beyonce saying, "I can't possibly accept this award and I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful and gracious, but my artist of my life is Beyonce, and this album to me, the Lemonade album, was just so monumental and so well thought out and so beautiful and so soul-bearing, and we all got to see another side to you that you don't always let us see, and we appreciate that, and us artists here adore you. You are our light, and the way you make me and my friends feel, the way you make us stand, and the way you make us want to do better. I love you, I always have, and I always will." Her heartfelt tribute to Beyonce sparked a standing ovation and praise from the audience. And while many interpreted it as a strong gesture of admiration, respect, and solidarity, many thought it was just strange and frankly too much. Get this though, it gets like astronomically weirder because she then went on and broke her Grammy in half to give to Beyonce, like the other half, like a real Mean Girls crown moment. Like dedicating your whole speech to someone else is already nasty work, but like breaking your Grammy, at that point, girl, just just go ask her to be your mom. And did, because she actually also said at the end of her speech that she wants Beyonce to be her mom. Moving on, so at the 2023 Grammy Awards, Lizzo took home Record of the Year for About Damn Time and was met with massive applause from the crowd. During her acceptance speech, she went on to address Beyonce. She said her sister helped her get out of literature class in the 5th grade to go see Beyonce perform. She followed it by saying, and she sang that gospel medley, and the way she made me feel, I was like, I want to make people feel this way with my music, so thank you so much. You clearly are the artist of our lives. Beyonce seemingly was brought to tears and the crowd to their feet cheering. But this wasn't as intense as Adele, but still, nonetheless, it fed into the theories that Beyonce forced her to do this. At this point, I'm ready to say thanks to Beyonce myself. Although this next incident is a little different, it's still so absurd and has been talked about millions of times throughout the years, so I want to touch on it briefly. Yes, the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards incident between Kanye West and Taylor Swift. In case you've been living under a rock, allow me to quickly give you some context. So, West storms on stage and interrupted Swift's acceptance speech for You Belong With Me by taking the microphone out of her hand and saying, yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. This incident is considered to literally be one of pop culture's biggest moments in history. But the theories around it years later are very interesting. A viral TikTok conspiracy theory suggests that Kanye stopped Taylor from being influenced by Diddy, but there's no proof to that, of course, but many think also it was just Kanye being Kanye, but some think Kanye's interruption was intended to protect Swift from being involved with Diddy. He was apparently trying to create a rift between Beyonce and Swift, as she had close ties with Diddy at the time. Now, many TikTok users believe West knew about Diddy's allegations of preying on younger artists and wanted to keep Taylor Swift away from him and Beyonce's influence. One Twitter, or X user, attempted to explain the theory and wrote, "This Diddy thing is making people go insane. The conspiracy theories got me weak. They saying Beyonce was gonna unalive Taylor Swift, so Kanye saved her when he interrupted her on stage. But hey, I've never seen so many positive Kanye comments in a while, so a win is a win." Another user wrote, "Now I see it. He's not angry at Taylor, he's stressed. You people, listen now, search up how many artists were saying that stuff for Beyonce." And because Kanye knew what was going on, he said it to protect her just in case. And that wax figure, it was all for publicity to make up beef so the true dark reason won't see the light. Of course, there's absolutely no proof that supports these claims, but it is food for thought, right? The most recent viral thanking of Beyonce incident happened at the People's Choice Country Awards, where Shabuzi, who's known for his hit song titled A Bar Song, which by the way skyrocketed to the Billboard Hot 100, making a milestone for the artist who is actually known for blending country and hip hop. When he accepted his award for Best New Artist of 2024, during his speech, he went on to thank several people, but upon concluding it, he said, and I quote, "Thanks for you, the Empire, for being the best independent label partner any artist could ask for. And thank you, Beyonce, you're amazing." His lack of elaboration left some fans wondering why he said it at all. The simple "you're amazing" leaves so much to discuss. How is she amazing? What has she done for you? Why are you thanking her? He really made it so short that it was the perfect potion to add to the cauldron of TikTokers believing that these celebs are forced to thank her. And one person even said it's like he gave that whole speech, remember last minute, that he has to thank Beyonce or else. Thanked her quickly to save face and then walked off stage. And the scary part about all these people thanking Beyonce is when they do, they look like they're terrified. And what these TikTokers are saying is that Beyonce wields so much power that anyone who kind of treads on her turf is seen as a threat. And they've either got to bow down or they must be eliminated. Basically everyone who accepts an award, whether they're up against Beyonce or not. Now, weirdly though, everybody has been thanking Beyonce over the years when they're not even associated with her. Some fans said, well, is there any evidence pointing to the people being unalive due to not bowing down to Beyonce? Someone actually pointed out that one person who didn't thank Beyonce when she won a Grammy was Amy Winehouse. And yikes, she passed away the very next year. Also, Aaliyah also passed when she was entering the scene around the same time as Beyonce, and both were almost neck and neck when it comes to being the most up-and-coming star. Many think she falls victim, and to be quite honest with you, Aaliyah was actually more popular than her and on a trajectory to being the bigger star. Aaliyah was the princess of pop, but Beyonce wanted to be queen. Many say if Aaliyah hadn't passed away, Beyonce would be nothing today. Well, maybe not nothing, but like definitely not as big as she is now. And let me give you some chills real quick. What's really creepy is that it was alleged at the time that Jay-Z was involved, or at least wanted to be involved with Aaliyah intimately. But Aaliyah was actually dating Jay-Z's friend Damon Dash, who, by the way, would go on to say that Jay-Z is a deceitful man. Now, on the fateful day of Aaliyah's passing, Aaliyah actually called Damon Dash and said she didn't feel good, something was off, and her intuition was telling her not to get on the plane. And apparently, Dash told her, you know you have to. Apparently, and also according to a book written by Kathy Landoli titled Baby Girl, sources said Aaliyah apparently was given a sleeping pill and carried onto the plane, like unconscious, before the fatal crash even happened. But what's wild is that Aaliyah was super hesitant to get on, and even knew the plane was over limit, and knew the plane would struggle to handle 8 passengers with her bodyguard, who weighed alone over 300 pounds. She continued to protest, and that's when she was given the pill to basically calm down. So let that run a chill down your spine. It's crazy to think that so many people who have passed on had some sort of tie to Beyonce and Jay-Z, but also that so many people to this day continue to fear Beyonce and her power. What are your thoughts on all of this though? Is this just a bunch of conspiracies, or are these TikTokers like really onto something? Have you thanked Beyonce today?
Now, first off, we have the fact that she's protecting her husband and not speaking out. Jay-Z was just named in a lawsuit with Diddy, and it does not look good for him. Since he and Beyonce are together, it also reflects poorly on her. Now, you don't know what I'm talking about? Well, we have to go back to October to get the full story. Now, an anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said an incident happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party. Now, a federal lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as a defendant. What we knew at the time was at the after party, the victim was mistreated by Diddy, while another male celebrity and female celebrity, neither of whom were named in the lawsuit, watched until she was able to escape. Now, this case was refiled on Sunday, December 8th, and it included Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, in it. It turns out that he was the male celebrity described in the suit. Now, we still don't know who the female celebrity was, but there is speculation that it was either Beyonce or J-Lo. Now, Texas-based attorney Tony Busby filed the suit, and the lawsuit says that a friend dropped off Jane Doe at the VMAs at the Radio City Music Hall. Now, she did not have a ticket, and she approached various limousine drivers to try to gain access to the show, or even just an after party. One driver, the lawsuit says, told her that he worked for Diddy and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. Now, he invited her to a party after the show and told her to return to his car later in the evening after he transported Diddy and Jay-Z. Later, the driver picked her up, and after 20 minutes they arrived at a white house with a U-shaped driveway. She then had to sign a document she believed was a non-disclosure agreement on arrival, and she did not receive a copy, but she had to do this to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities. She was then offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down, so she went into a room to rest. Shortly afterwards, the suit says Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room, with Diddy saying, "You are ready to party." That's when she alleges she was taken advantage of by both men while an unnamed female celebrity just watched. After the alleged incident, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to a gas station where she called her father. Now, the accuser is seeking unspecified damages, and all I gotta say about all this is that it's just absolutely disgusting. Now, Jay-Z though is furious with this and that it has become public. According to the lawsuit, her attorneys reached out to Jay-Z to request a mediation to resolve this matter. In a statement, Jay-Z called the mediation request a blackmail attempt, and he also said the lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. Now, in a statement from Tony Busby on Saturday, he wrote, "The pleading speaks for itself. This is a very serious matter that will be litigated in court." Now, after this, Jay-Z filed his own lawsuit against the accuser's attorneys. He filed a motion in New York City on December 9th, requesting that the accuser reveal her name instead of filing anonymously as Jane Doe. His lawyer, Alex Spiro, stated that Jay-Z is respectfully seeking either dismissal of the allegations or disclosure of the plaintiff's identity. Fair is fair, Alex wrote in the motion. It's not consistent with justice, fairness, or the rules governing federal proceedings for the plaintiff and her counsel to smear Jay-Z's good name. Now, the document also noted that Jay-Z has built an impeccable reputation, adding he's never been accused of, let alone engaged in, any misconduct. Now, it's just disgusting that he wants her name to be revealed to the world, as we know that his fans will go after this poor woman and make her life even worse. But what does Beyonce think about all of this? Well, she hasn't said a thing. In fact, it appears that she's been supporting him. 2 days after Jay-Z was exposed in the lawsuit, Jay attended the premiere of a movie with Beyonce, where their daughter Blue Ivy voiced one of the characters. It was the first time Jay-Z had been spotted in public since the accusations, and sources with direct knowledge told the Post that before the allegations, it was rumored that Jay-Z and Beyonce were not planning to attend the premiere. However, they appear to have a change of heart after the lawsuit. Now, she's helping him do damage control, and it's just gross. I mean, as a woman and just as a decent human being, why would you support him like that? If anything, just Beyonce and her daughter should have gone to the premiere and left Jay-Z at home, as they knew the attention would be on him. Now, this whole situation is just so gross and horrible, and not to mention, Jay-Z has admitted to cheating on Beyonce. Now, the fact that she stayed with a cheater is shocking, but now she's defending him after everything he's done. I mean, at this point, just throw the whole family away. Now, besides defending her husband, Beyonce has been in quite a few scandals herself. People are claiming that Diddy helped Beyonce and Jay-Z get rid of their competition. For years, Diddy has been accused of causing the passings of Tupac Shakur, the Notorious B.I.G., Michael Jackson, and others. But now people think that Beyonce and Jay were in on it too. Rising star Aaliyah passed away on August 25th, 2001 after her private jet crashed in the Bahamas just minutes after takeoff. Now, she was only 22 years old when she passed away and was considered a promising star that would definitely overshadow Beyonce, so some claim Beyonce got Diddy to help get rid of her. Now, at the time of her passing, people were suspicious as no one on board her plane managed to survive. Leslie Lopes, known as Left Eye, was another American artist who passed away suddenly on April 25th, 2002 after a car accident. Now, people have also brought up Michael Jackson, as his security guard apparently used to work for Diddy. People are now saying that Beyonce and Diddy had something to do with all of this. Now, J. Cole lists all these celebrities that passed away in his song She Knows, which some people say sounds like Beyonce's last name, Knowles. Now, is it just a coincidence or what? Now, people have done even more digging though and discovered that all the victims, Michael, Aaliyah, and Left Eye, all passed away on the 25th of a month, and that Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Diddy were all born on the 4th of a month. Now, could this mean something? Maybe, maybe not, but it's something to point out. Fans have also brought up the fact that when a lot of people in Hollywood win major awards against Beyonce, they always have to thank her or mention her in some way, and if they don't, they have an untimely passing or an accident. Now, is it crazy to think that Beyonce had Diddy do all of this? One wild theory even involves Kanye West's famous interruption of Taylor Swift at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. During Taylor's speech, Kanye said Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. Now, some fans are suggesting that this moment was an attempt by Kanye to protect Taylor. Yeah, it's insane, but some people are starting to believe it and are turning on Beyonce. Now, the internet is always full of strange rumors, but this one is picking up steam, and it will need to be shut down soon before it spreads more and more. And let me tell you, it's spreading like a wildfire all over TikTok. Now, some people have turned it into a joke, which I completely understand, but could there be some truth to it? It sure does seem like it. Not to mention, there's always been rumors that Beyonce and Jay-Z are a part of a secret society. So, believe what you want. For starters, with Jay-Z, people just do not like him right now because he's been accused of inappropriately engaging with a young person alongside Sean Diddy Combs. So yeah, we're straight to the point with this one. Jay-Z has not been found guilty by any means. He was just recently tied to an accusation against Diddy. A woman alleges that when she was little, she attended a Diddy party, was inebriated, and while under the influence was attacked by the rappers inappropriately. Originally, she only named Diddy in the case, with the other celebrities referred to as Celebrity A and Celebrity B, but obviously, that's changed. The case has alleged that Celebrity A was Jay-Z, and there is a possibility that matters were settled behind closed doors with them, as that's what Jane Doe's legal team allegedly attempted to do with Jay-Z, but obviously failed in that case. So yeah, there's some pretty serious allegations against the rapper right now. Already, people were kind of getting like celebrity fatigue when it came to Jay-Z and Beyonce, and what that is in simple terms, people have seen a lot of them recently, and now they are tired of seeing them and want something new. Already dealing with an unfavorable public opinion and then having this thrown into the mix is a recipe for fame disaster. People really don't want to see Jay-Z in public anymore and think that he shouldn't even be invited to major events with everything that he's been accused of. At first, it was just the new live-action Lion King red carpet, which his daughter and his wife were both involved with the movie, and the accusations had only recently come out a few days before, so it made sense that he might still want to attend that carpet. However, people were outraged at seeing him next to his family at the Grammy Awards a couple weeks ago. Many thought it was wrong to have him at the luxurious event and criticized the move. Some even considered this as Jay-Z desperately trying to maintain his star status amidst all the negative things happening. It was also made into a bigger deal when Kendrick Lamar won 5 Grammys for his diss track, Not Like Us. The song is about his feud with somebody else, it's with Drake. However, the themes of the song can technically relate to Jay-Z right now, considering what he's been accused of. In the song, Kendrick calls out Drake for acting in a strange manner when it comes to younger people. This is something that the rapper has been held accountable for by the public before. It was discovered that he was personally messaging young female stars, not like saying anything too weird, but people still found it weird that he was texting them so much to the point where they would think of him as a close friend. Yeah, people thought it was hypocritical of the Grammys to give so many awards to a song that features sections commenting how it's wrong to mistreat young people when there was someone sitting in the audience that has been accused of doing just that. Now again, Jay-Z has not been found guilty. He is adamant that he isn't guilty. Still, much of the public's favor has been lost and likely won't return until we get an official. Beyonce is an international household name with numerous hit singles, but people are questioning why the star feels the need to remain in the spotlight for so long. She has released a total of 8 albums, and that's not including things like live albums or soundtracks, etc. Those that have worked for / with the star in the past have remarked about her insane work ethic. Some even referred to her as a robot with the amount of work that she can get done in a day. Earlier in her career, Beyonce was everywhere, but her career really took off with her hit single, Single Ladies. This went viral at a time when going viral was kind of this new thing. You couldn't escape Beyonce or Beyonce-related content or Beyonce parodies simply because she was the moment. However, people started getting celebrity fatigue. It happens to the best of them. Suddenly, it became annoying to see Beyonce, and even though she might not have changed, the public's perception of her did, and soon she started disappearing between album releases, something the singer has addressed. The artist did an interview last year in which she said that fame started to feel like a prison for her. So instead of staying active in between album releases, she started to disappear. Choosing not to appear on red carpets as much anymore or not doing as many interviews, she wants to focus on the art she creates and specifically her time with her family. But if you're sitting there wondering why this particular conversation about Beyonce's fame level is reigniting right now, please think of the recent Grammy Awards, where Beyonce won Best Country Album and Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. People are pretty upset that Cowboy Carter took home these trophies. The Album of the Year won because, well, their own favorites just didn't win, or they just think that this wasn't Beyonce's best work. And then the country album, because some people just didn't like that Beyonce tried out the genre. Beyonce's country talents have been called into question since the album's March 2024 release date. Country is pretty different from what Beyonce has been known to do. Many of her past works include pop, R&B, and hip-hop, and everybody knows that once you enter the music industry, you have to stay in the genres you started with, and you absolutely can't cross over at all. That is not allowed. The more aggressive of those that didn't like Cowboy Carter have accused the singer of rigging the Grammys to steal awards from the other artists, aka those that kind of started with country and have stuck to country, except for Post Malone, who was also nominated and was another artist that did switch his sound up a lot for this album. But this is different from Beyonce because his fans have deemed him a genre hopper that doesn't really stick to one thing. He tries it all, but many of his songs before were pop, R&B, and hip hop. Some country fans have said that the only country that they want to listen to is by those with a passion for the genre, not someone who is just looking to try it out for fun. And that's fair. You can tell when a person creating art doesn't really have their heart in it, and that's no fun. However, after some digging, I discovered a couple sources that suggest that Beyonce actually didn't just hop into the country genre just for fun, and she does have a passion for it. Back in 2016, she made headlines when she performed her country song Off Lemonade, Daddy Lessons at the CMA Awards. This was met with about as much backlash as she is now getting for her 2025 Grammy wins, but Beyonce's apparent love for country music dates almost a decade earlier than that. A 2007 article suggests that Beyonce had been thinking about writing country music for a long time. A source at the time said that Beyonce was considering making a country album next. In the end, her next album release was I Am Sasha Fierce, which is not country at all, so where did that source even get that from? Well, in 2007, Beyonce performed a country version of her hit Irreplaceable at the AMAs with country band Sugarland. The country remix was surprisingly great. I never would have thought it would work that well with that song. Beyonce didn't sing the song with that characteristic country twang. She very much kept her own sound, but it still worked just fine, and Sugarland was awesome as well. Would you have the courage to call Beyonce stupid to her face? One man certainly had no issue doing that when he refused to allow the singer on a tour of the Egyptian pyramids and even allegedly banned her from ever returning. It was a whole thing, so stick around for the details. The man in question was Dr. Zahi Hawass. He is a popular tour guide as he knows the pyramids very, very well. For years, he's been the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities of Egypt. He campaigns for stolen Egyptian artifacts, and he is, in general, an archaeologist, described by many as Indiana Jones. It's clear the man knows what he's talking about when it comes to the ancient Egyptians, and who wouldn't want a personal tour led by Indiana Jones? He does have another popular unofficial nickname, which is Gatekeeper of the Pyramids. Though this might not be official, he has no problem exercising his right to ban those he deems unworthy of the space, and that list shockingly added Beyonce's name back in 2013. Dr. Hawass said he found the singer rude after she allegedly showed up late to their meeting, and then there was a disagreement over photography. The doctor claimed that he and the artist had agreed to meet at 3 p.m., but Beyonce showed up after that. When he requested an apology, apparently the artist, in his words, didn't open her mouth. Now, that wasn't enough for him to just refuse the tour right then. There was another incident that really created the problems. Beyonce, of course, had a guard with her for safety reasons, but in addition to them, apparently brought a photographer as well because she wanted to do a goddess themed photo shoot while there. The thing is, the doctor also brought a photographer, and this seemed to be a bit of a problem. He claims that when his photographer started taking pictures, Beyonce's guard attempted to stop them, and it resulted in some pushing and almost having their camera taken away. This incident pushed the doctor's anger over the edge, and therefore the star lost her spot on his tour. That, plus she was also allegedly being rude. His send-off to the star was something not many people can say they've done before. Apparently, he said Beyonce was stupid and then just left. There was also the matter that Beyonce had shown up in all white because she was having a goddess-themed shoot. Dr. Hawass even asked her when she arrived if she was trying to be Cleopatra, which Beyonce actually found funny. Of course, anyone allegedly getting banned from an ancient historical site would be a big deal, but when that person is international music artist Beyonce, there's going to be headline upon headline. Of course, news of Beyonce's banning made it back to her team, so we do have a response from the artist, and it just made the whole situation a little bit stranger. According to her team, this incident never happened, and said the whole thing was lies and more lies. Hey, even if the incident did happen, it definitely didn't take place in 2013 like the initial article suggested. Beyonce's statement shared that the last time the singer had been in Egypt was in 2009, and there are photos of her there at that time. When this Beyonce ban news, which was originally reported by the UK news site Independent back in November of 2013, the article made it sound like this incident had happened very recently, but that wasn't the whole truth. Dr. Howes is a pretty controversial character on his own, without getting into too many details, once calling those with opposing theories pyramidiates? No, oh my god. Pyramidiates. Yeah, sure. Once calling those with opposing theories pyramidiates, and I will admit, that's kind of funny, no notes there, extra points for creativity. Anyways, he was widely celebrated for his efforts in the archaeology world, but he was also deemed to be very controlling and overbearing, even egotistical by some. It appears that in a 2013 interview, the man was simply reminiscing on his past encounter with Beyonce from 2009, and if the account is true, it's certainly eventful enough to remember after all this time. Though this alleged incident didn't take place in the year the Independent article came out, accounts from 2009, they do exist. E! News reported that locals spoke to the press at the time. One journalist got the statement that the doctor did get angry with the singer and stopped being diplomatic. This account also claimed that he called Beyonce a stupid person that didn't understand anything, or that she just didn't want to understand anything. Either way, the pair clearly did not end their interaction well. It's unclear how Beyonce responded to the insults against her. Maybe they were said after the pair had separated, who knows. Despite the alleged rough end to the tour, things clearly started well enough as the pair were pictured together in front of the Sphinx reading from a book. Beyonce even made her way into one of the pyramids and sang Ave Maria. She said it was the clearest acoustic she's ever heard, and she could have stayed there forever. I mean, if she really is banned, that would cause a problem. Despite not making overly public returns to the country, Beyonce has used Egyptian mythology and symbolism in her shows and performances since. People are saying Beyonce has been kicked out of the country music scene despite the success of her latest album, Cowboy Carter. After winning the Grammy for Best Country Album and Album of the Year this year, Beyonce has been attacked from all angles. From those that didn't like the album, to those that did, but just didn't think this was Beyonce's best work. The singer has probably heard it all. A lot of people are just angry with the star for taking on the country genre in the first place. Beyonce, for a long time, has been primarily an R&B, pop, hip-hop artist. Cowboy Carter was her big jump in the country music scene, but not the first time she's tried it out. People are very upset that Beyonce seemingly tries out a genre and then wins everything for it. It does look odd. If you aren't aware of her country music roots, it would seem like she's just trying out genres to have a little bit of everything in her music library. Those that have really taken the theories far, though, even accuse award shows of being rigged so Beyonce can have an award for every genre. But again, Cowboy Carter might be Beyonce's first full country piece, but it's not the first time she's expressed a love for the genre. On her 2016 album Lemonade, she released the country-leaning track Daddy Lessons. In 2007, a rumor was circulating that Beyonce's next album was going to be all country. It turned out that it really wasn't. Her next album was I Am Sasha Fierce, but the rumor likely came from the fact that Beyonce had spoken out about her love for country music, and the fact that she had recently done a country rendition of her song Irreplaceable at the AMAs with country artist Sugarland. Truly, it was a matter of time though before she was going to come out with a Cowboy Carter. I mean, Beyonce was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Country music is in your bones. In 2024, the Country Music Awards shocked everyone though when they didn't award Beyonce with any awards or even nominations. People weren't exactly being shy about their distaste for her taking on the genre, but outright refusing to acknowledge the impact her album had was another thing entirely. Beyonce's song Texas Hold'em was huge. The Bayhive was hopeful that Beyonce would become the first black woman to get shortlisted for Album of the Year. Of course, that didn't happen in the end. Not to say that those that were nominated were undeserving, because many great country albums have been released last year, but what's interesting is that the CMAs might have had a hand in the creation of the very album that they ended up snubbing. In 2016, Beyonce performed her song Daddy Lessons at the CMAs with the Chicks, formerly known as Dixie Chicks. The performance was widely criticized. Lead singer of the Chicks, Natalie Maines, even spoke out about the treatment Beyonce was subject to after, calling it disgusting. Beyonce was the one in the end to connect the 2016 show to the 2024 album. In an Instagram post about Cowboy Carter, Beyonce wrote that the album was born out of an experience that she had years ago where she did not feel welcome. The experience made the artist want to take a deeper dive into the history of country, and now we have it in Cowboy Carter. Though she lost out on nominations at the Country Music Awards, she got 12 at the People's Choice Country Awards, which was, funnily enough, more than anyone else that year.
First off, we have Taylor Swift. Swift and Beyonce seem to be on good terms now, constantly photographed at award shows together and supporting each other's concert movies. But years ago, Taylor and Queen Bee had some tension formed between them by Kanye West, as Taylor Swift was giving her Best Female Video Acceptance speech for You Belong With Me at the 2009 MTV Awards. Kanye went on stage, took the microphone from her and said, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'm gonna let you finish." But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time, referring to the music video for Single Ladies. As the live audience booed him, Kanye handed the microphone back to Taylor, shrugged his shoulders and walked off stage. Next up, we have Carrie Hilson. The beef started back in 2009 after Carrie's Beyonce diss track surfaced. "Your vision cloudy if you think you the best. You can dance, you can sing, but need to move it to the left," she sang. "She needs to go have some babies. She needs to sit down. She fake. Them other chicks ain't even worth talking about." The R&B singer remained tight-lipped about her alleged 2009 diss track for years, but many believe the "Turning on Me" lyrics mentioned qualities that hinted towards Beyonce. Many believed Carrie dissed Beyonce with the lines about moving it to the left, and this seemed to be a reference to Beyonce's 2006 song Irreplaceable. According to a report in Cheat Sheet in 2011, the Carrie Hilson-Beyonce beef reached newer heights when Carrie refused to hold the newest issue of Juicy magazine after noticing Beyonce and Jay-Z were on the cover. The internet then began to hate on Hilson for the evil way she has been treating Beyonce. As the internet hate grew severe and became unbearable, Carrie took to Twitter in 2013. The singer wrote, "You have no idea what your hateful words could do to someone's spirit. Years of verbal abuse from strangers all day long. Enough is enough." Next, let's discuss Beyonce's alleged rude restaurant behavior. Multiple servers have made an assortment of claims about her. Although Beyonce might seem down to earth at times, she also has a $70 million yacht, so it makes sense that there might be some stories of her behaving in a rude manner. In 2002 and 2006, a waitress says that Beyonce was very rude to her. According to the post on Quora.com, she first encountered the singer at Papa De, a restaurant in Houston, Texas, and Beyonce wouldn't look her in the eyes. Solange, Beyonce's sister, was nice, but Beyonce wasn't, she says. The waitress also came across Beyonce in 2006 at the NBA All-Star Game, which took place at the Houston, Texas Center. As the server posted, again, incredibly rude. "I get you are famous, but a true queen has class. So in my opinion, Queen Bee, or whatever she's called, can kiss my you-know-what." There's another story out there about a restaurant order connected to Beyonce. According to LouisvilleFuture.com, Beyonce was signing at the KFC Yum Center in December 2013, and Beyonce and the people working for her ordered a ton of food. Someone who worked for her came into a restaurant called Highlands Buffalo Wild Wings and paid for the $900 bill. The order was 4 salads, 5 burgers, fish tacos, fried shrimp, 20 chicken tenders, more than 100 wings, and more than 100 boneless wings. The problem? Not only did Beyonce's employee not leave any tip, which is impossible to believe when the restaurant bill is almost $1,000, but they weren't polite when ordering either. Mahogany Lucas, the cashier, even gave the employee free food, and there wasn't a tip there either. They said the employee was very rude and demanded the food be ready soon. Next, we have Kim Kardashian, who allegedly is not a fan of Beyonce. It's well known that Beyonce and the Kardashians are not friends, and it's believed the reason for this is because Jay-Z and Kanye's ongoing feud. The power couple didn't attend Kim and Kanye's wedding, despite Jay-Z previously being his mentor and a main player in kickstarting his career. In April 2018, Kanye told radio host Charlemagne that thank God their feud began after the couple snubbed his wedding. According to Page 6, sources told the publication that Beyonce, who keeps most of her family life private, didn't like that Kanye was participating in keeping up with the Kardashians. Beyonce always gives Kanye a lot of grief whenever he does anything for the show, they said. Another source told the publication that Kim and Kanye's obsession with fame irritates Beyonce. And Beyonce reportedly owned Kim K in a tense phone call. Beyonce flipped out on Kim when Kim called her to try and soothe tensions after Kanye's 2016 hospitalization, a source told the website. Basically, she told Kim to never ever contact her or her husband again and said stuff like she thought that the two of them are made for each other because they're both talentless and pathetic. Next up, we have Wendy Williams. When Beyonce was set to release her HBO special, Life is But a Dream, Wendy Williams was quick to say, I am a Beyonce fan. I'm gonna watch her upcoming documentary because fortunately, one of the TVs in our kitchen has closed captioning, so I'll be able to understand what she says. The audience began laughing nervously before Wendy went in for the kill. You know, Beyonce can't talk. She sounds like she has a 5th grade education, she says. This did not go over well at all with Williams' audience, who responded with several boos. Excuse me, I just said I was a fan, she said, but we have to call a spade a spade. Next up, we have Azalea Banks. Azalea has a lot to say about everything and anything except her own music that apparently is not doing too hot. In 2016, following the release of Beyonce's album Lemonade, Banks was quick to respond to writer Ta-Nehisi Coates' praise of the singer's work. I don't think for a second that Beyonce was intelligent enough to come up with any of those ideas on her own, she tweeted. But there is an update on the drama, as just a few weeks ago, Azalea made another comment about her. Beyonce announced details of her new album Renaissance Act 2 during the Super Bowl, and as soon as the commercial concluded, Beyonce released the project's first 2 singles, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. And the banjo twang of the former and the slow pacing of the latter both seem to confirm ongoing speculation Beyonce was planning on releasing a country-flavored album. Now, Azalea has spoken up, warning her fellow performer that she was making a mistake. In an Instagram stories post, she said about the new material, there's nothing country about it. You're setting yourself up to be ridiculed again. There's a theatrical element to country music. The critics are not just going to accept an ugly blonde wig and bullying from Jay-Z. It's giving big-time musical grift. Yes, black girls can make country music, she continued, but you're just really not hitting the button. Next up, we have the controversial Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York City, took issue with Beyonce's 2016 Super Bowl halftime show. During the performance, she debuted her single Formation and paid homage to the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, and the Black Lives Matter movement. Giuliani interpreted her show as an affront to law enforcement. This is football, not Hollywood, Giuliani told Fox and Friends after the big game. I thought it was really outrageous that she used it as a platform to attack police officers who are the people who protect her and protect us and keep us alive. Giuliani argued that the Super Bowl is for middle America and that the NFL should be providing, quote, decent, wholesome entertainment to that audience rather than political messages. Giuliani's criticism of Beyonce received serious backlash of their own. Included on that list, former Destiny's Child group member Kelly Rowland said in an interview with Us Weekly that, quote, Giuliani should just shut up. Next up, we have actress Sonia Lathan was accused of flirting with Jay-Z and biting Beyonce in the face at a party in December 2017. Yes, you heard that right. Comedian Tiffany Haddish told GQ that an unnamed actress was getting too close for comfort to Jay-Z at a party, so Beyonce allegedly intervened. And by intervened, we mean she supposedly said, Jay, come here, this B-word, and snatched him. At least, that's how Tiffany Haddish remembers it. Haddish said one of Beyonce's friends later told her that this B-word just bit Beyonce. Wow. Next up, we have Kid Rock. The Born Free and cowboy rocker threw some serious shade at Beyonce in an interview with Rolling Stone. He told the music magazine that he is, quote, flabbergasted by the attention she receives. Beyonce to me doesn't have an effing purple rain, but she's the biggest thing on earth, he said. How can you be that big without at least one Sweet Home Alabama or old time rock and roll? lol. People are like, Beyonce's hot. She's got a nice effing butt. I'm like, cool, I like skinny white chicks. Doesn't really effing do much for me. Beyonce has not responded to Kid Rock's offensive remarks. However, Beyonce fans, called the Beehive, have taken action to defend their Grammy Award-winning queen in a way only the Beehive could, by flooding his Instagram page with bee emojis. And then Kid Rock later posted a photo of bee repellent. Yikes. Lastly, we have Fox News presenter Bill O'Reilly. The famously right-wing host labeled Beyonce's video for the song Partition as, quote, exploitative garbage, and suggested it will encourage pregnancy among teen African-American females. Wow. When Beyonce was set to release her HBO special Life is But a Dream, Wendy Williams was quick to say, quote, I am a Beyonce fan. I'm gonna watch her upcoming documentary because fortunately one of the TVs in our kitchen has closed captioning, so I'll be able to understand what she says. The audience began laughing nervously before Williams went in for the kill. Quote, you know Beyonce can't talk. She sounds like she has a 5th grade education. This did not go over so well with Williams' audience, who responded with several boos. Excuse me, I just said I was a fan, she said, but we have to call a spade a spade. Williams' comments did not go over well with the Beyonce fans. It was also picked up by several media outlets who reported on Wendy's commentary. Next up, we have Azealia Banks. Azealia has a lot to say about everything and anything except her own music that apparently is not doing too well. In 2016, following the release of Beyonce's award-winning album Lemonade, Banks was quick to respond to writer Ta-Nehisi Coates' praise of the singer's work. Don't think for a second that Beyonce was intelligent enough to come up with any of those ideas on her own, she tweeted. But there is an update on the Azealia Banks Beyonce drama, as just a few days ago, Azealia made another comment about her. Beyonce announced the details of her new album Renaissance Act 2 during a Verizon advertisement during Sunday's Super Bowl. As soon as the advert concluded, Beyonce released the project's first 2 singles, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages, and the banjo twang of the former and the slow pacing of the latter both seem to confirm ongoing speculation Beyonce was planning on releasing a country album. But now Azealia has spoken up, warning her fellow performer that she was making a big mistake. In an Instagram stories post, she said about the new material, quote, there's nothing country about it. You're setting yourself up to be ridiculed again. There's a theatrical element to country music. Them critics are not just going to accept an ugly blonde wig and bullying from Jay-Z. It's giving big time musical grift. Yikes. She continues by saying, yes, black girls can make country music, but you're just really not hitting the button. Next up, we have Kid Rock. The born free and cowboy rocker threw some serious shade at Beyonce in an interview with Rolling Stone that he is, quote, flabbergasted by the attention that she receives. Beyonce to me doesn't have an effing purple rain, but she's the biggest thing on earth, he said. How can you be that big without at least one Sweet Home Alabama or old time rock and roll? People are always like, Beyonce's so hot, she's got a nice butt. Well, I'm into skinny white chicks. Doesn't really effing do much for me. Yikes. Beyonce has not responded to Kid Rock's offensive remarks. However, the Beehive, Beyonce's fan base, has taken action to defend their Grammy Award-winning queen in a way only the Beehive could, by flooding Kid Rock's Instagram page with bee emojis. Kid Rock then responded by posting a photo of bee repellent. Yikes. Our next Beyonce hating celeb is Donald Trump. Former President of the United States, Donald Trump, is not in the good books of many celebrities, Beyonce included. In 2016, when he was running for office, he did not have most celebrities' support. And if his 2019 Minneapolis rally speech is anything to go by, he didn't need them, he says. At the rally, Trump sent some words in the direction of Beyonce and Jay-Z, who rallied behind Hillary Clinton in 2016. I didn't need Beyonce and Jay-Z, Trump said, quote by quote. Alright, next we have Piers Morgan, the British reporter. When Beyonce released Lemonade in 2016, Azealia Banks was not the only celebrity who wasn't pleased with her. In a Daily Mail article, Morgan criticized Beyonce, referring to her as militant. In a tweet sharing the article, Piers Morgan says, I prefer the old Beyonce, the one who didn't use grieving mothers to shift records and further fill her already massively enriched purse. Morgan also recalls interviewing Beyonce at President Barack Obama's inaugural ball in 2008 and meeting a, quote, bright, warm, funny, sharp star. A bright, warm, funny, sharp star who pains to be seen as an entertainer and musician and not as a black woman who sings. He remembers the singer when asked if she ever experienced racism in her childhood, saying, "I feel like with my career, I've now broken barriers. I don't think people think about my race anymore. It's not about color and race, and I'm happy that's changing. Now it seems to be the complete opposite," Morgan writes. The new Beyonce wants to be seen as a black woman political activist first, entertainer and musician second. He cites her popular music video for Formation, which contained references to Black Lives Matter, and her Super Bowl halftime performance, which alluded to the Black Panthers. Morgan questions Beyonce's intentions for showing the grieving mothers of Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin in her video for Lemonade, contending that both women were exploited, he says, to promote her album. "I have huge personal sympathy for both women, and there's no doubt that African Americans have been treated appallingly by certain rogue elements within the country's police forces," he writes, "but I felt very uneasy watching these women being used in this way to sell Beyonce's album. It smacks of shameless exploitation." Next up we have Rihanna. Rihanna better get to hiding under that umbrella because the rumors of her feud with Queen Bee are pouring down. While the two play nice in front of the cameras, it is very clear that Riri isn't feeling Beyonce at times. Apparently the work singer wants Jay-Z back, and that is why she sometimes casts shade. Rihanna and Jay-Z have known one another since 2004, when the young singer from Barbados was called into the offices at his company, Def Jam Records. Rihanna has since admitted to being incredibly nervous about meeting him and told The Guardian in 2007 that she did not get nervous until she was actually face to face with the man who would change her life. As Rihanna put it, "I was like, oh god, he's right there, I can't look, I can't look, I cannot look." Before Beyonce married Jay-Z, Rihanna and him were constantly seen in paparazzi photos looking pretty cozy with one another. To further fan the hate flame, Rihanna also favorited a tweet once that alluded to the idea that Rihanna was better than Beyonce. Next up we have 50 Cent. 50 Cent has never come out and said the words "I hate Beyonce," but during multiple interviews over the years, the rapper has implied he's not the biggest fan of Queen Bee or even her husband Jay-Z. Speaking to People in 2015, 50 Cent defended the Grammys' decision to award Album of the Year to Beck over Beyonce, saying, quote, "Beck produced his record, he wrote the record. There's 11 producers on Beyonce's album." That is a fair analysis and not necessarily an insult towards her, but let's dig a little deeper. A year prior, as Beyonce and Jay-Z tried to move on from leaked security footage showing Beyonce's sister Solange attacking Jay-Z in an elevator, 50 Cent publicly recalled a time that Beyonce allegedly confronted him inside a Las Vegas nightclub. One time, Beyonce jumped off of a ledge and came running over because she thought me and Jay were having issues, he told radio station Power 105. And I'm like, what the F? Did she really just jump and run up on me like that? She bugged out at me, he says. Next up, we have the controversial Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York City, took issue with Beyonce's 2016 Super Bowl halftime show. During the performance, she debuted her single Formation and paid homage to the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, and the Black Lives Matter movement. Giuliani interpreted her show as an affront to law enforcement. "This is football, not Hollywood," he told Fox and Friends after the big moment. "I thought it was really outrageous that she used it as a platform to attack police officers who are the people who protect her and protect us and keep us alive." Giuliani argued that the Super Bowl is for middle America and that the NFL should be providing, quote, "decent, wholesome entertainment to that audience rather than political messages." Giuliani's criticism of Beyonce received some really bad reviews of their own. Included on that list, former Destiny's Child group member Kelly Rowland, who said in an interview with Us Weekly that Giuliani should just shut up. Next up, we have Etta James. Beyonce earned arguably the best reviews of her movie career playing legendary singer Etta James in the 2008 movie Cadillac records. She even attended the Los Angeles premiere of the movie with Etta James, suggesting the two were on friendly terms, at least professionally, but apparently that was not the case. During a 2009 concert, Etta, who died in 2012 sadly, made it very clear she was not happy about Beyonce singing her iconic song At Last at President Barack Obama's inaugural ball in 2009. She says, "I tell you, that woman he had singing for him, singing my song, she's gonna get her ass whipped." A 71-year-old James reportedly told a stunned crowd, "The great Beyonce. No, I can't stand Beyonce. She had no business being up there singing on a big old President Day and gonna be singing my song that I have been singing forever." Lastly, we have actress Sana Lathan, who was accused of flirting with Jay-Z and biting Beyonce in the face. Yes, you heard that right. Comedian Tiffany Haddish told GQ that an unnamed actress was getting too close for comfort to Jay-Z at a party. So Beyonce allegedly intervened, and by intervened, we mean she supposedly said, "Jay, come here, this B word," and snatched him. At least that's how Tiffany remembers it. Tiffany said one of Beyonce's friends later told her that this B word just bit Beyonce. Wow.